Jey Uso reunites with Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso, the best and worst of WWE Raw. CM Punk got suspended in real life for hurting Drew McIntyre at Bad Blood. Goldberg will cost Gunther his match at Crown Jewel. John Cena should not retire. Cody Rhodes is the top guy in WWE because of his father. Triple H has a major problem with Rhea Ripley. The WWE has signed another legend to a big deal. Let's dive right in. The best and worst of WWE Raw. Smackdown tonight was a great show, with lots of big matches and moments. Following the developments of Bad Blood, it had to be that way. From Roman Reigns' in-ring return to Kevin Owens crashing out, a lot happened last Saturday. We got some answers on what's next, while a lot more is yet to be revealed. As we take things one step at a time, here are the biggest positives and negatives from tonight's episode of Smackdown. Number 1. Best. Game 7 loading. Smackdown featured a big title match tonight, as LA Knight defended his United States Championship against Carmelo Hayes. They had quite the match, with the challenger coming close on multiple occasions. The end saw Knight retain his title while Andrade looked on from ringside. This led to a brawl between Hayes and El Idolo, confirming their feud was not over. With the series tied at 3-3, the rubber match has been set for next week. Nick Aldis essentially confirmed that the 7th match, Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade, will be for a US title shot. More great in-ring action is never a bad thing, especially with some stakes attached to it. This may lead to a triple threat for LA Knight's belt at Crown Jewel. Number 2, the war begins, but there's no final boss. Smackdown started and ended with the bloodline angle. Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns had a heartfelt segment in the ring to open the show, with the OTC acknowledging his younger cousin. This is the start of apology season for Reigns. However, The Rock was not even mentioned. As great as it felt to see the two talk it out on SmackDown, the main event of the show wasn't that great. Uso took on Solo Sikoa in an all-right match, which may have gone a little too long. Jimmy tasted defeat too, which isn't ideal less than a week after his return. The show did end with the babyfaces getting beaten down. Roman Reigns' run-in was not enough to put the bloodline down, as he and Jimmy Uso were taken out by Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and the Tongans. This was a bit basic, but at least it's leading to something much grander. Number 3. Worst. Stick to your show. It made sense for Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, and Raquel Rodriguez to be on SmackDown tonight, as they were scouting Nia Jax ahead of Crown Jewel. They ended up costing the WWE Women's Champion her match against Naomi, which could lead to a title bout soon. However, Rhea Ripley made an unannounced appearance on the show. She attacked Morgan and Rodriguez, who both escaped from Mommy. This was unnecessary since all three of them are from Raw. Such stuff should be kept for Monday nights, otherwise, where do the invasions end? There needs to be a level of discipline when it comes to the brand split. That got broken on SmackDown, for a simple escape angle. Number 4. Best. KO goes mental on SmackDown. The best thing on SmackDown was Kevin Owens' invasion of the show. He got suspended for his attack on Cody Rhodes after Bad Blood, but showed up anyway. KO claimed that he was the one who got betrayed, before his microphone got cut off. This led to Cody Rhodes coming out, only for security to separate them. Surprisingly, Randy Orton was the voice of reason, and tried to defuse the situation, only for things to turn sour between him and Owens. The Viper punched him, signifying the official end of their bromance. Kevin Owens ended up attacking Randy Orton outside the arena later on the show. This has established him as a slimy heel with no remorse for his friends or anyone standing in his way. Let the fun begin. CM Punk got suspended in real life for hurting Drew McIntyre at Bad Blood. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre's hard-hitting rivalry concluded at Bad Blood 2024, where both stars faced each other inside the brutal Hell in a Cell structure. Both superstars displayed elite-level resilience in the gruesome match. The Second City Saint won the bout after he hit McIntyre with a GTS with a steel chain wrapped around his knee. Punk kicked off the latest episode of Raw, where he expressed his emotions after competing in a fierce war against Drew McIntyre. He told fans that although he won the bout, he was banged up after the show. The voice of the voiceless ended his promo by saying he was unsure about what the future holds for him, hinting that he would miss television for some time. Later, a report confirmed that he was not going to compete at the upcoming Crown Jewel PLE. Since CM Punk will miss the Crown Jewel 2024 PLE, many fans have wondered whether WWE has suspended the Second City Saint for hurting Drew McIntyre. During the match, the Scottish Warrior was legitimately injured. It took 16 stitches to close his wound. However, CM Punk is not suspended, and neither of the men faced heat backstage. Punk is banged up from the match and has made some claims about working in Saudi Arabia in the past, and that's the only reason he is away. Even though CM Punk informed fans on Raw that he was unsure of his future in WWE, the Stamford-based promotion has already hinted at his next feud. As Punk was leaving the stage after speaking with fans on Raw, Seth Rollins interrupted him, and both stars had an intense face-off. teasing a potential match. Last year, when CM Punk made his much-awaited return at Survivor Series 2023 after the men's War Games match, Seth Rollins appeared bitter with his arrival. The Stamford-based promotion had plans to book a match between these two at WrestleMania 40 before the Second City Saints sustained an injury at Royal Rumble 2024. It will be interesting to see when the Triple H-led creative team will finally go through with CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Goldberg will cost Gunther his match at Crown Jewel. Gunther recently had an altercation with a WWE legend at a show. According to a wrestling journalist, this could come back to bite him. Bill Apter was the latest to comment on the feud between Gunther and Goldberg. At Bad Blood, the ring general came out to address the fans. He was in full form as he berated the crowd before he turned his attention to Goldberg, who was sitting at ringside with his family. After making personal comments about Goldberg, the former world champion jumped the barricade and was about to make a beeline for the ring when the security personnel stopped him. This got a lot of fans excited at the chance of seeing a feud between both the men. Recently, Bill Apter and Teddy Long joined Mac Davis on Sportskeeda's The Wrestling Time Machine. Apter suggested that this could result in Goldberg costing the ring general his match against Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel. I think it was very exciting. Do I want to see him come back to compete? After the last time I saw him compete, probably not. But if they can work something out where he gets involved somehow, just to give a spear to Gunther somehow when Gunther is wrestling someone else. Think of this. It's going to be Gunther and Cody Rhodes at the Crown Jewel. Suppose Goldberg shows up and this is where that Crown Jewel thing and he spears Gunther to cause him to lose to Cody. Ever since WWE Bad Blood, fans have been waiting to see Goldberg appear during Raw and challenge Gunther to a match. However, a veteran believes this will not happen. Speaking on his Drive-Thru podcast, Jim Cornette said that WWE won't put Goldberg over the ring general, and fans won't want the former to lose either, which will cause the company to drop the idea. I don't honestly think they're going to do Goldberg versus Gunther as a match because they wouldn't put Goldberg over, and it would probably be a bummer if he didn't win because people would know it'd probably be his last match. But they're not going to put Goldberg over Gunther at this stage of the game because that would be ridiculous, he stated. It will be interesting to see if WWE will book a match between the World Heavyweight Champion and Goldberg down the line. John Cena should not retire. John Cena announced at Money in the Bank 2024 that he plans to retire from in-ring competition in late 2025. In an exclusive interview, WWE Hall of Famer Jerry Lawler doubted whether the veteran wrestler is making the right decision. Cena was one of WWE's top full-time attractions for over a decade before reducing his wrestling schedule in the mid-2010s to focus on acting. The 47-year-old is a 16-time world champion, a record he shares with two-time WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair. Speaking to Sportskeeda Wrestling senior editor Bill Apter, Lawler explained why he does not think Cena should retire. No, I don't think anybody should ever retire. There's too many things you can do without using the word retire. When I hear about somebody retiring, I look for them to die pretty soon, so I would never say that he's gonna retire. Many wrestlers have come out of retirement to compete again several years after their in-ring careers ended. Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels famously returned to the ring, while Terry Funk was well known for reversing his retirement decision multiple times. Jerry Lawler added that Funk still had plans to step back into the ring shortly before passing away at the age of 79 in 2023. Terry kept talking about them making comebacks right up until he died. His health got so bad, but I mean, look how old he was. He hung in there a while, and I never looked for him to say he'd retired because up until he died, he talked about having a comeback match against me. In a separate interview, former WWE writer Vince Russo recently addressed whether John Cena could join a new Vince McMahon-led wrestling promotion. Cody Rhodes is the top guy in WWE because of his father. Cody Rhodes defeated Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 to win the undisputed WWE Championship for the first time. In an exclusive interview, legendary commentator and wrestler Jerry Lawler gave his honest thoughts on the American Nightmare's success. 6 years after leaving WWE, Rhodes returned in 2022 and immediately became one of the company's top stars. The 39-year-old's WrestleMania 40 storyline largely revolved around his attempt to become the first Rhodes family member to capture a WWE World title. Speaking to Sportskeeda Wrestling senior editor Bill Apter, Lawler admitted he never expected Rhodes to emerge as WWE's top guy. He also mentioned how the Smackdown star can thank his father Dusty for his career achievements. He owes all of it, where he is today, to his dad, Lawler said. They used that big time in the marketing and it worked out perfect. Who can say that Dusty wasn't one of the greatest, especially what he did in marketing? He was the best at that. Oh gosh, I don't even know how to put it, but it put him, Cody Rhodes, in a place where I did not think he would be as the world champion. Triple H has a major problem with Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan's intense rivalry has captivated the WWE universe for months, as the two have been at loggerheads for quite some time. However, the prolonged saga between the Eradicator and the Women's World Champion has started to lose momentum, succumbing to repetitive storylines on the weekly shows. Initially, Initially, the love triangle between Morgan, Ripley, and Dominic Mysterio got a good reception from fans. However, as weeks passed, it became a predictable story of cat and mouse chase with nothing much left to unravel. With weekly repeats of the same angles, Triple H appears to be having major problems with Mommy's recent WWE booking. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan have been feuding since April this year. The Judgment Day's betrayal at SummerSlam did add a new layer to their rivalry, but it could not keep its momentum alive. The Ripley-Morgan feud gradually lost its spark when WWE kept repeating similar things every week on Raw. The storyline has become stagnant due to a lack of new things and predictable outcomes. It will not be an exaggeration to say that both superstars have been stuck in a vicious loop. Therefore, WWE needs to move on from this saga and unravel new layers of this storyline. Rhea Ripley has not been involved in a fresh storyline since WrestleMania 40. Ever since April, she's been hunting down Liv Morgan on Raw with an intent to capture the Women's World Championship. However, the Eradicator does not seem to be getting much out of the ongoing storyline. She needs to be competing against stars who can elevate her further in the ring. If Triple H decides to move on from this feud, Mommy could have blockbuster matches against stars like IYO Sky and Lyra Valkyria on Raw. As of now, her storyline with Morgan and the Judgment Day has arguably become a roadblock and a fresh direction for the Nightmare. Therefore, the game has to come up with a new idea to end this feud between Morgan and Ripley and give a fresh start to both the stars on Raw. Currently, Rhea Ripley is one of the most popular stars in WWE. She made a name for herself after her stellar reign as the Women's World Champion. However, the Eradicator has been involved in only one feud with Liv Morgan this year, which has been going on for quite some time. The fact that Ripley is embroiled in an everlasting feud with the Miracle Kid could lead to fans losing interest in her. The WWE Universe could eventually stop investing in Mommy's ongoing storyline. Hence, in order to avoid such a creative misstep, the creative team should explore some new layers of Ripley's character. However, before this causes a major disruption among the fans, the game needs to introduce a new aspect in the story of the Eradicator. The WWE has signed another legend to a big deal. WWE constantly makes new signings to have the best team of stars to entertain its audience. Recently, the Stamford-based company signed another legend, who was also the last wrestler to hold an old championship, to a big deal. The news was recently shared by the newly signed Dylan Postal. Competing in WWE under the ring name Hornswoggle, Postal was the final WWE Cruiserweight champion. He was a popular presence on the show and was an ally of legendary Finlay. At the age of 38, he still wrestles under the ring name Swoggle. Making an appearance at ACW Wisconsin, Postal addressed the crowd and revealed his newly signed contract. The video of this message was posted by the official X/Twitter handle of ACW Wisconsin. The 38-year-old legend was associated with WWE from 2006 to 2016 and also played the kayfabe role of Vince McMahon's illegitimate son. It would be interesting to see how the company uses Postal's new multi-year deal with Mr. McMahon no longer running the business. While WWE has now signed Dylan Postal, also known as Hornswoggle, to a legend's contract as per a PW Insider report, Armando Alejandro Estrada recently signed a legend's contract with the Stamford-based promotion as well. Estrada is renowned for being the former manager of the late legend Umaga. The 45-year-old made his debut in the Stamford-based promotion in 2004. However, the company noticed that he garnered more success outside the ring whenever he put on the hat of a manager. Owing to this, he was paired with Umaga as the latter's manager, which turned out to be a massive hit. The company later made him the general manager of ECW as well. Estrada left the Stamford-based promotion in 2008 and then made some appearances between 2010 and 2012. Now, with Estrada and Hornswoggle signing the Legends contract, it would be interesting to see what plans the Stamford-based promotion has for them in the future. Jey Uso reunites with Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso. The Bloodline saga continues to roll on in WWE. The angle essentially started in 2020 when Roman Reigns returned, won the Universal title, and aligned himself with Paul Heyman. Over the course of the next 4 years, the storyline has continued to grow and branch off into numerous directions. Recently, that direction has seen Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso effectively or properly being kicked out of the stable. Solo Sikoa has since taken over, recruiting Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa into the fold. Both Roman and Jimmy were absent for long periods during the summer. While the OTC returned at SummerSlam, Uso made a shocking comeback at Bad Blood. The duo is looking to take down this new version of the Bloodline. With that being said, they clearly need help. The best possible help for the duo is arguably their own family member, and former Bloodline star Jey Uso. Several signs are pointing to the family reuniting, and this piece will take a look at a handful of those indicators. Number 1. Jey Uso has seemingly been eased out of the Judgment Day Terror Twins storyline. One major sign that Jey Uso is seemingly moving on from Raw to join the Bloodline saga is his current stories on the Red brand being wrapped up. This applies to one major story, but potentially another too. For starters, it seems as if WWE is moving away from Jey Uso's romance with Rhea Ripley and partnership with Damian Priest, as he has separated himself from the Judgment Day. This will free him up of any strings attached to the Terror Twins and the Fiendish faction if he moves to Smackdown. The other one is related to his Intercontinental Championship. The title looks good on Jey, but Braun Breaker attacking Uso is an indication that the dog of WWE could win his title back. While only time will tell if that happens, it would free Jey up fully, and he could then move to Smackdown. Number 2. The WWE Universe wants Jey to reunite with his family. Another major sign is all about crowd reaction. During WWE Friday Night Smackdown, a segment between Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns featured the crowd loudly chanting one word, Yeet. The audience adores Jey Uso. He is unquestionably one of WWE's biggest stars. Fans chanting for him isn't new, but the context in which it was happening is key. When the idea came up of someone helping Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso take on the Bloodline, the crowd's reaction suggested they wanted it to be Jey. Given how much this regime cares about what the audience wants, that is likely a sign it'll happen. Number 3. Smackdown pushed the idea of Roman Reigns needing help. The segment in which fans chanted for Jey Uso came after Jimmy Uso delivered a powerful message to Roman Reigns. The former undisputed WWE Tag Team Champion noted that he was the only one who still acknowledged Reigns. This wasn't meant to be a dig at Roman, but it was there to prove a point. Right now, Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso are outnumbered and outgunned. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa are too much for them to handle. This was proven at the end of the night when both men were laid out by the Bloodline. The entire focus of their angle throughout SmackDown was to indicate Jimmy and Roman needed help. That is clearly pointing to someone saving them, and Jey is the most likely source. Number 4. Jimmy Uso was alluding to reuniting with Jey. Lastly, the most blatant and obvious sign that Jey Uso would soon reunite with Roman Reigns, and Jimmy Uso was visible last night. Jimmy was seen alluding to Jey throughout the latest edition of WWE SmackDown. When Jimmy and Roman were in the ring, the former flat out said there was one person they could count on for help, and everybody knew he meant his twin brother, Jey Uso. That was a strong endorsement, especially given their history in WWE. Still, if that wasn't enough to make it obvious, Roman Reigns cleared things up. After Jimmy alluded to reuniting with Jey, Roman replied, "No yeet." If there was any doubt that the company was planning to reunite the family, that moment alone should eliminate any of it.